Welcome back, friends and family, to another episode of the Backdoor Cut Show, brought to you by Dash Radio's Nothing But Net channel and the Barn Burner Podcast Network. Check us out on the-barnburner.com. A lot of you are following us right now on at @the_barnburner on Twitter. So on our Periscope feed right now. And also you can check out our YouTube channel where all of our podcasts are live there as well. Tonight you got Zach, Mason, and Rich, and we're going to go through the Grizzlies roster tonight and assign letter grades, kind of a round robin approach, assign letter grades to all the guys on the team, kind of give our first impressions or our impressions of the first half of the season, touch a little bit on the All-Star game, and then at the end, Mason was one of the 30,000-ish to get the new Top Shot pack today. So we're going to open that up at the end. So stay tuned. That's a good tease right there. We don't usually have a highlight finish like that, but we got that today. Rich, man, how you been?
Man, I'm good. I'm good, man. A little expedited All-Star weekend this weekend, all jam-packed into one day. As a proud HBCU alum, it seems like HBCUs just started yesterday if you looked at the NBA, but I'm grateful, for the love and the spotlight and whatnot. And the NBA, well, not really. They were kind of able to pull this off. I hope Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons are doing well with their first cuts.
True.
But yeah, All-Star weekend. Shit was weird, but it's all good.
How you been, Mace? What's up?
Hey, I feel lucky, man. I got that pack today, and I feel great. But unfortunately, sports-wise today, my heart was ripped out twice with the Memphis Tigers going down on a half-court buzzer beater to the Houston Cougars. In a great game, honestly, a really fun college basketball game. In the second half, the first half, the officials kind of mucked it up and took all the fun out of it. And then with Mike Conley, I thought he was gonna get there and win the 3-point contest, and just like always, here comes Stephen Curry. It's just like he's got one shot left, and you're like, oh my god, this is money. Like I don't even want to watch him shoot it. It's like the half court shot in at the end of the third quarter in Game 4 against the Warriors in 2015, I think, when we were up 3-1 or 2-1, and Jeff Green turned it over. Steph shot it from half court, and you're like, damn. It's over the rest of the game. So, but other than the two heartbreaks, I'm doing relatively well. How about you, Zach?
Man, I can't complain too much. I think that Tigers game was definitely one of the more fun games, one of the more intense ones of the season, which is, as a fan, that's really what I'm looking for, is to feel passionate about it, feel involved. And that hadn't brought it too much this year, but today they definitely did. I hope we get another crack at Houston in that conference tournament. So I think Memphis will stand a pretty decent chance then. They obviously hung with them all day today. Really, really fun game. I also, how do you not foul when you're up 3? I don't know. Kelvin Sampson, are you basketball coach or what's the deal, man? I don't know. But
well, in his defense, Lester shot one off the side of the backboard, hit a guy's arm, bounced off the player.
But Memphis shooting 40% from the free throw line, so that makes the decision even easier.
I agree with you, but he was gonna be right until crazy things just happened and Boogie knocked down his first 3 of the game. So yes, it's weird having a close game. The Grizzlies closed the first half of the season with a close game, the first time in I believe 18 games that the game was decided by fewer than 9 points. So the Grizzlies have not been giving us very many thrilling finishes, and then of course the Bucks beat us on another buzzer beater as Drew Holiday erases the memories of Ja Morant's almost game winner. But so. That was supposed to be a transition into not close games and talk about the All-Star game in which Team LeBron just completely dominated Team Durant, even though Kevin Durant was not out there. I thought, Giannis was the MVP. I think he was 15-15 or 16-16 with 35 points and just banking in threes and acting like a kid out there. It was fun to see. But I thought the stars of this show were, Steph and Dame, like shooting from half court, just making it look so easy. That's kind of the only takeaways I have from the All-Star game. Rich, you got anything you want to add?
Yeah, man. I caught it at half, and that was the first time I was able to tune in, and I saw like LeBron. They like already dubbed them, like they were about like 20 at the break. And I mean, you know, I'm not surprised that roster was stacked. LeBron has a mixed experience as a GM. He's been a GM since about 05, 06. So, you know, he knows how to put rosters and teams together. You know what I'm saying? He knows how to build that out. But yeah, man, Steph and Dame show. I mean, that's all I've been seeing all over my timeline and shit, man. Just the way in which they're able to shoot the damn basketball is just, I mean, when they're not playing the Grizzlies, it's fun as hell to watch. They're just some amazing ass shooters. You know, Giannis did his thing. I'm a huge Jaylen Brown and Zach LaVine fan, so I was glad to see them get their first run in the All-Star game this year as well. But yeah, you know, interesting. I mean, that fourth quarter with the Team LeBron being already so close to the target score, it left a lot to be desired, but you know, it was cool for what it was. What about you, Zach?
I had a few bucks on Kyrie scoring under 19.5, and doesn't look like I won that. I don't remember what he had exactly, but that didn't pan out.
Well, he was like the only one on Team Durant that was playing hard.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it was a quick bet for me. I should have done my homework. That's on me. Hand up, that's on me. But
yeah, and like you mentioned, Rich, the game not being close basically erased the Elam ending portion of last year, which was so intense and just so fun to watch. So it doesn't work every time, but it did, you know, alleviate us from another 6 or 8 minutes of just watching them go up and down the court. So I appreciate it for that reason.
For sure.
I mean, 24 points in the fourth quarter. The Team LeBron scored 60 in the second, so we had a ways to go.
All right, dudes. Let's dive into these letter grades. You want to start at the top, or where are you thinking?
Wherever you want to start.
All right, we'll start with Mr. Morant. We'll start with the king at the top. Rich, what letter grade do you give Ja Morant for his first half of the season?
Ah, shit, man. Starting off with Ja, we're coming in hot. My heart says A-, but my brain says B+. I think I'm gonna go with a B+, so close to an A- though. I think Ja, you know, after coming back from that injury, he's been able to, you know, reintegrate into the swing of things. And really this last week, like, you know, the Washington game and the Milwaukee game, I think he finished strong for sure. And you know, I think as time goes, Ja's gonna get hopefully get that respect and that whistle. Like, he's demanding that whistle now, you know, being more vocal with the refs, you know, trying to, you know, have them put some respect on, you know, the team's name and what have you. But when I would be remiss if I didn't mention that 3-point shooting. That jumper has not been looking that hot, man. And you know, it's you know, you don't want your PG having everybody go under. You know, with Ja's driving ability, you know, he needs to keep defenses honest. Defenses honest. To know that threat is at least there, even if we know Ja can get to the cup 9 times out of 10 at will and break down whoever off the dribble. But I think, you know, he's continued to make strides as a leader of this team, especially with his counterpart, you know, being missing in action and Jaren Jackson the entire first half of the season. I think a lot was put on his shoulders. And he's really delivered and, you know, stepped up to the plate. And I think that, you know, as he continues to like grow and, you know, gain more comfort, you know, as this, you know, because I don't think we've ever had a player with the national reach that Ja has. Like, he's somebody that, you know, national media, he's always on Bleacher Report. He's always on all these, you know, trending on Twitter. He's an ambassador for the game. You know, he's always reaching back and showing love to young guys coming up behind him. And so, you know, I wouldn't rather us have anybody else leading the charge for the future of this franchise. But yeah, man, that 3-point shooting, that perimeter defense, we're gonna have to get in the lab a little bit. But yeah, man. So I'm gonna go with the B+ for sure.
Yeah, I think B+ is probably a little too generous for me. But you hit on the reasons why, Rich, and Chris Harrington laid it out in the Daily Memphian too. And it's the 3-point shooting and the defense. The 3-point shooting regressed from last year. So far this season, it has, at least. And he's in the 0 percentile of point guards when it comes to 3-point shooting. And his defense went when our defensive numbers when he's on the floor are really bad. He's in the 7th percentile defensively for point guard. So, but his offense is awesome and it makes up for it for the most part. So all in all, like I'm not, unimpressed or displeased with the performances we've seen from Ja. I just think I and most people were probably expecting a little bit more of elite this year, but maybe we're starting to see that. I mean, he is just the franchise's first player to score 35 in back-to-back games. Never been done before, so he's starting to get that scoring going. We saw after his technical tirade, he's now getting to the free throw line more. Maybe that's a coincidence, maybe not. But it does look like he's turning that corner. And then you add Jaren Jackson Jr. to the mix the rest of the season. I think we could see the Ja Morant we envisioned for the entire season coming into this year.
Yeah, I would have to go a little lower than you, Rich, and pretty much because I know we're not going to grade everyone, but Ja's at the top of the list, so I'd give him my letter grade. So I would say a solid B because, like Mason mentioned, I think something that sticks out is that when he's on the court, we're 8.6 points better per 100 possessions than when he's off on the offensive side. And then on the defensive side, we're 8.4 points worse per 100 possessions. So it's like technically it's essentially washing itself out. So I would say Ja's doing like a B average, but all the caveats in there of the way that he's crazy assist numbers right now. When I looked like last week, he was like top 10 in the league, I believe, in assists per game. He wasn't qualifying because he didn't have the amount of reps, but I mean, his per game assist numbers are really, really good. And the shot quality, eye test, and metrics for the rest of his teammates when he's on the court, that goes up. Everyone's shooting better when he's out there. He is scoring just terribly inefficiently, but thing that we have seen improve lately, his float game is getting better, which if he's not getting the calls at the rack, he needs to release the ball a little bit earlier. We've talked about that some, and he is doing that. So that's, one part of his game that he's really working on. And really it's the defense is rough. And Memphis has a top 10 defense right now, but we just have like a plethora of elite wing defenders, which is pretty great. And they're able to hide some of those weaknesses of his. But shooting 23% ain't going to cut it from 3 in the long run. But that just shows you how awesome this guy is that he can shoot that poorly and still makes the team that much better. He's that good at getting to the rim and passing, finding the open lanes and creating for his guys. So a whole lot to unpack there. There's not like just an easy answer, but I mean, the future is still bright. So, I mean, young guy, obviously not worried or anything, but that's just, it's when it's good, it's awesome. When it's bad, not so great.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, he's the best player on a team that's 500 in the Western Conference, over exceeding expectations, and he hasn't had his second best player all season. Yeah. So, like in the grand scheme of things, he's been pretty good, but we're just nitpicking here.
That's what diehards do. We gotta dive into it every single day. We live and breathe it. So, all right, let's move to next guy on the list, Dillon Brooks. Mason, how you feel Dillon's done so far this year?
Ooh, I'm gonna piss Sam off here, but I think the best of ability is availability, and Dillon's been available for almost every game except for that little stretch where he had the sore thigh. And I think the defense that he brings, especially we've seen it these last couple of games, like these last 2 weeks, basically, as our defense has gotten back to one of the best units in the NBA, it's because he is taking on the challenge of guarding the other team's best player night in and night out. And more times than not, he's holding them to below their average and just frustrating the hell out of them, just making them work for every bucket they score. He's starting to shoot better now that he's more in that third, fourth player role and not having to take as many shots. Even though he had 20 against the Bucks, he really kept us in it in that first half. He was the only one scoring. So I'm really appreciative of what Dillon brings to this team and just the intensity he brings every night. And I think as a young team, like without him, I don't think we would be where we are today without Dillon Brooks. So that's why I give him a solid B. There's definitely plenty of room for improvement efficiency wise, But defensively and just the mental attitude that he brings night in and night out on a team that lacks veterans, I think is irreplaceable.
Rich, follow-up thoughts on Dylan?
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree too much with that. Honestly, I think we need Dylan. To be frank, the defensive intensity that he brings. I think I saw a tweet not too long ago, like somebody was saying, like Dylan Brooks would not be in the NBA if Dylan Brooks wasn't as confident in himself as he is. And you need that. He has no fear. He doesn't back down. He was sorely missed when he was out. And I think even after the Wizards game, Bradley Beal showed him some love. It was like, yo, like, respect, like dude competes. So yeah, I mean, I still hate when I see the little like pull up threes that I just know like aren't going in. But also like Dylan's a tough shot maker. Sometimes he can when shit breaks down, Dylan can get a bucket sometimes. And I just really think that, his energy, he's able to really set the tone on that defensive end on the floor. We know he's going to pick up the challenge of, the other team's best perimeter player. I think it's great to have Justice back, who can also do so, just, in a bigger body, stronger. But yeah, man, I think I'm fine with a B. I really don't know where we would be. We wouldn't be where we are, like Mason said, without what Dylan contributes to this team.
Yeah, Sam, I hate that you missed this because I'm sure that you would love to crap all over our love for Dylan, or maybe not our love so much as our appreciation for him and what he does and what he brings to this team. I would have to agree with you guys on that one. If we're looking at a game holistically, he's taken on. If you look at B-Ball Index, has a great way that they measure defenders and the flexibility that they have, the challenges that they take on a nightly basis. And he's in a very high percentile across the league for that. And it's nice just to have that guy who he doesn't care. Like he's just going to go out there. And he's even had some quotes this year about talking how, he wants to make his mark on the defensive end of the floor, which I think we should really appreciate. That he's self-aware enough to know that is something that's where he can really add a lot of value to this team. And he's going to need to do that because there's so many other guys who can come in and play defense on the wing. If Dylan's not, we still got Melton. Bane's not a bad defender, I don't think. So Dylan's got to be consistent on that end of the floor to make sure that Justice. Oh yeah, absolutely. Him probably more than any of them. I'm still not used to him being there yet, so it might take me a few more weeks. But yeah, and the streaky shooting, if we don't penalize Ja too much in our grading for that, then I think it's only fair to do the same for Dylan because I believe he's shooting better than 23%. Now, I think he's like 29 or so right now, so not good, not where we need him to be.
He's up to 32 from downtown and 40 from the field.
Oh, 32. That's creeping up there towards league average.
Okay.
So like these last 2 weeks or so, he's been really consistent, shooting the ball a lot better.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. It's going to be tough for me to turn my back on Dylan just because he's been there. He's played the games for the team when we needed him. So I've really appreciated what he's done this year and kind of finding his role. I think the true key is going to be when Jaren gets back.
Yeah.
Kind of how many shots is Dylan going to lose? Is he going to be efficient with those shots when he gets them? Can he make sure to keep himself on the floor by not fouling? He's still fouling just a boatload. But he's still getting a lot of minutes. I don't think that's taking him off the court a ton that I've noticed at least. But that's what I got on Dylan.
Who we got next?
We got Jonas Valanciunas.
Oh, you got to start us off with this one. This is your boy. You wrote the article before the season that let us all know he was mediocre. So let's hear what grade you have for him.
He's and still pretty. He's consistent. So we got a guy who's really consistent, which we just gave praise to Dylan for, right? So I don't think it's fair to penalize Valanciunas. Kind of the opposite strengths of Dylan. Defense, not so good, man. not protecting the rim. That's not what he's here for. He plays defense bent over on the perimeter. Like I don't even know how to describe it. Like legs straight, just square bent over, like one of those like a Nutcracker doll or something with his arms stuck out. That's kind of what it reminds me of, his defense on the perimeter. But I mean, he's like he's definitely one of our better rebounders, if not the best. He's 15 and 10 guy. I mean, that's just a really important guy to have there, I think, especially on some of these nights when, I mean, we saw when he was out, Memphis struggled. They need him in there. He and Ja especially play so well together off the pick and roll, and Ja just in general. They've logged a lot of minutes together over the past few years, and Ja's confidence, you can tell, goes up so much when Valanciunas is in there setting screens, because he actually sets them more so than a lot of guys who just chicken wing or just running through the action. But there's a lot to be said for JV right now. He's a critical part of this team, so I've got to give him a solid B. I know it might seem like a cop-out. That's like what we've given everyone so far, but probably to expect a lot since it's a 500 team. Probably have a few guys over and below, but for the most part, at least from my side, a lot of guys kind of fitting in there, you know, making some good and then some bad also to average themselves out. Mason, what are your thoughts on him?
I agree with you basically on the principles of what you said. But I don't think Valanciunas has been the best version of himself this year. I think he's left a lot to be desired. He's missed a lot of shots around the rim. He's in like the 31st percentile of big men shooting at the rim. And while I agree that we do need him or someone with a similar skill set, ideally a little more, athletically gifted for the defensive purposes, but he's integral to this team. So I think I would just go B- just because I think he could be better. And maybe it's just lately he hasn't been really good. So I kind of got that taste in my mouth, but not too far off from your grade. How you feeling about JV, Rich?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as it hit, B- is what came to mind for me. I just, to your point, Mason, the easy bunnies missed. I think the rim protection, dude be fouling like a motherfucker too, man. Like, and it's just so like, and he's always gonna like dispute every call and like just fucking start like going off and shit, man. I just, and he's solid. Like he's solid. He's gonna get you double-digit points, double-digit rebounds, but it just seems like the most whatever doubles ever. Like, yes, I appreciate him. Yes, he's a cool part of the team. He was missed while he was out. To Zach's point, yes, he is like the best screen setter. He has good chemistry with Ja. But like you said, man, I think there's a lot to be desired. I think that there's more that can be asked of him as, the starting five on this team. As well as somebody who the franchise made an additional investment in this past summer with a contract extension. And so, yeah, man, I don't know. JV it's weird, he does some things well, but I think the things that he doesn't do well, they're so glaring, and they impact the game even more so. But yeah, I think B- is where I was at with it too.
Yeah, and maybe we're getting our visions tinted on this because we're realizing that he's not the answer long term, and we kind of just want the answer right now of what the team is going to completely look like. So, but I mean, for the most part, he's solid, and you see like what he brings to the team and what he doesn't bring. You see why a team like Toronto traded him to chase their goals of winning a championship. Like he's not a starting big man on a championship contender, I don't think, just because of the defensive liabilities. And we've seen him get run off the court a couple times when teams go straight pick and roll, and there's no answer for that. But for the most part, consistent. So we'll wrap that up with JV. Next up, we got Brandon Clark. So how you feeling about your boy, Rich?
Oh man, this is a tough one. I mean, you can kind of split this into two halves, right? I think the BC that we saw at the beginning of the season, I don't think he was fully healthy. And I think that there was such a shift in the way in which, what fans were expecting from him because of how he played. And, I think the easy cop out was, oh, look, he was enjoying himself this summer, rebranded himself, got a little swag, been hanging with Jaren, dressing a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, oh man, he wasn't working on his game. But I think the injury was still there. And I think BC is rounded into shape a little bit more of what we've been used to. But of course, that grade is going to have to average out. And so I would probably go with a sorry, y'all, a B. I would have to go with the B for BC. I just still, am curious about his fit as a long-term fixture, with the team. Like if that's going to be a starter level, or is he just a high quality, bench player with that tweener aspect, undersized big. The athleticism is still there. He's able to finish. In BC, he'll compete. But the 3-point shooting, it comes and it goes. The rebounding, etc. I appreciate his activity. I appreciate what he brings. But I think last year he was able to catch a lot of people by surprise. And of course, with, when you come back, people are game planning for you. They know what you like to do. They know your spots. They know how you like to impact the game. So I think people are starting to figure it out a little bit. So it's going to be on him to figure out how to further expand his toolbox to realize that, here, now it's not just, jumping over everybody. We got, it's the NBA, they can jump with you. So, just seeing how he can impact for sure. I'll lean with I'm going on a curve. I'll go with a B. Yeah. What about you?
How you feeling, Zach?
So I would think a little bit lower of BC purely because I did have such high expectations to either, maintain what happened last year or to take another little leap. And certainly to start the season, we did not see that. Things were clearly a miss in shooting, finishing. There was a lot of issues. He certainly rounded into form some. He's got a lot of minutes already this season. I think that, let me see real quick. He played 700 last year in 58 games. So in 27, he's got 330. What's that? It's a little bit ahead of pace for last year for minutes played. But, his per 36 and everything, his production's not been what I'd really expect, especially for some of the starting opportunities that he's gotten this year. So yeah, I think for me it would be a C just because I really did expect a whole lot from him this year, and that hasn't really transpired. He hasn't really been as integral to things as I would have expected after, plotting the future of the team. Of course, that could change towards the end of this year or after some of the guys get traded. Don't really know what's going to happen there, but for now, it could be better, I think, for BC.
Yeah, I think I'll split y'all and go with the C plus because I don't want to penalize him for some of those starting lineups when it was, Tyus, Dylan, Kyle, Brandon, and Valanciunas, and it obviously wasn't working, and we kept rolling it out there when we were going through some struggles early on. So I feel like that plus the injury really hampered BC's start to the season, and whatever was going on / might still be going on with his jump shot and just the form with which he's shooting. But we have seen some bright spots here lately. We've seen more of the pogo stick. We've seen him finishing better around the rim, getting back to the spots that he likes. So I think what we have in Brandon Clark is the super sub. And I think I'll continue to ride that train. I was on it last year. But it's all depends on how all these guys fit with Jaren and how our rotation looks when he gets back until we can make any definitive judgments on their future with the team, I feel like. But BC, yeah, I would like to see more. So we'd like to see more from both of our 2019 rookies. But who's next on the list?
Grayson Allen. Mason, we'll toss it back to you.
I want to go B+ for my boy Grayson Allen. I mean, when he plays with Ja Morant, the chemistry they have, and Grayson's ability to find the open lanes and Ja's ability to hit him, it's a lot of fun to watch. It's like just watching two best friends at a open gym who just know where each other are going to be. He's playing more than I think we expected, 24 minutes a game, shooting 40% from downtown. So yeah, I mean Grayson, he's been good. All of our shooting guards really have been. Defensively, he's limited because of his size, but he plays hard. He's usually in good position. He gets into the passing lanes well. So did I give him a grade?
You said B+.
Yeah, B+. So that's all the reasons why. So I like what Grayson brings to the team. I'm not going to sit here and pound the hammer that he's got to be part of the future because there could be someone better, but just the spacing he provides alone is something that's hard to duplicate. Someone shooting 40% from downtown, and you got him, Bain, and Melton all shooting around that. Like, that's a great problem to have. So you're not going to find me saying many bad words about any of those guys as they come up. But Zach, how you feeling about Grayson?
So he's actually a guy that's really surprised me pleasantly this year. So I would give him one of my higher grades, I think, and grading on the same curve as BC, coming from the same approach of what I expect you to be able to do this year. And like you said, his shooting has really been monumental for us in a lot of games. But he can come in and hit 3 or 4 threes. The starting lineup, the one, I'm trying to think of who all was in it. Him, Dylan, Kyle, JV, Ja was, I don't know if it still is, but that was our best lineup for a pretty long time. And his perimeter defense is kind of a mixed bag of sorts. He doesn't do a lot of deflections, but he does get a lot of steals. And so he's clogging things up and just kind of adding another layer for that perimeter defense for Memphis. He's not a bum out there by any means. So, and like I think you mentioned, he plays really hard, which is another thing that's really important out there. Just have someone that can muck it up and hit threes. I mean, really, that's describing someone we've been searching for 10 years. And the fact that we have several of them on this roster is like a very nice thing. I'm in no hurry to trade all of them away. I don't know. Some people are trying to do that. I don't know. They're not here tonight, but some people may speak of such things. Yeah, so I would say one of the higher grades on the team for me, for Grayson. What about you, Rich?
Yeah, I'm fine with the B+. Grayson has definitely surprised me this season as well. I think oftentimes I forget like how tall he is, and like his height, the height that he brings. But like y'all mentioned, man, having a shooter out there just opens up things so much more for Ja. And Grayson, give it to him, man. He'll knock down that open three. Limited, of course, but he competes on defense. He'll, fight through some screens, and do what he has to do out there, hold his own out there. And I think also, the team appreciates what he brings also, man. He's somebody who still deals with a tough national reputation. He still gets ragged on, relentlessly on the internet, even though he's been a model teammate since he's been here. No issues, no problem. The Grizzlies ride for him. But yeah, man, I think no matter what he does, for some people, for certain basketball fans, it's never going to be enough. It's never going to have them forget the past, if you will. But I think, to Grayson's credit, he's kept his head down, and I think he's carved out, a role for himself in this league in the future. As he, somebody I view as like an integral piece moving forward, to be determined. That's up in the air. But definitely have appreciated what he's brought to the team this year. Most definitely.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if his spacing is still super important when Jaren comes back, or if Jaren kind of alleviates the importance of having a two guard who can space, or maybe having both of them is something we've never seen before and is a whole lot of fun. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what we call that next level that elite teams have. I'm not really used to it. So,
yeah, I mean, going from what we have been to the potentially having like 3 or 4 40+% 3-point shooters on the floor at one time. If we went small and had Jaren, Melton, Bain, and Grayson with Ja.
Have you guys like seen any highlights or watched any older games, in the past year or so, where the spacing is just, it almost makes me claustrophobic to watch the game because everyone's got a foot in the paint.
Yeah.
Like no
The
one's
pick and
out on the
rolls,
break.
like right by the free throw line.
Yeah. You're rolling like into three other guys, and it's just such a weird dichotomy compared to how the league is today. It's very fascinating. All right, next guy, Desmond Bane. I think it's my turn to start probably. So with Bane, I'm gonna give this guy an A because I got nothing but good things to say about Bane this season. He came in, started off with the bang, and has done everything to keep it up. He's shooting 44% from three. He's shooting half his shots are from three, half are from two. 9.5 points, almost 3 rebounds, 22 minutes a game. So he's got, it doesn't feel always like that much run, but he's, still getting some pretty solid minutes. Defense has actually been very impressive to me also. I know that he got the short arms too, him and Dylan, but I mean, Bane's built like a tank, and he seems to be a very high IQ player. And I mean, he just has seamlessly filled in on this roster in many places that we've needed him. I love every time he comes in the game. I'm excited to see kind of what happens with him. How many threes is he going to hit this game? But nothing but good things to say about this steal of a pick that Memphis got.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting 23 minutes a game out of the 30th pick, and he's not hurting your team. He's actually on the higher side when you look at the on-off ratings. So, yeah, I've been pleasantly surprised and pleased with what Desmond Bane brings to the table. Sure, he makes rookie mistakes, and everything's not perfect. He could tighten up his handle a little bit and add more to his offensive repertoire, but those things will come. And, yeah, like you said, but nothing to complain about. So, Rich, anything else you want to add on Bane?
Agree with everything y'all said, man. A for sure. You're getting this kind of value out of the final pick of the first round. Like y'all said, he's been a seamless fit. He's able to hit those open jumpers. And he, is somebody who seems to really, be about that work. And he's about, putting his head down and getting to work. I think to your point, Mason, I think him tightening up the handle will open up even more for him. Being able, continually, try to create for himself in a way. But, nothing negative really to say about Bane. And, yeah, like y'all said, it's hell of a steal.
And fourth most games played on the team. So not only has he been great, but he's been available.
So, yeah, and he only missed games for personal reasons, right? Like, he's been healthy. Yeah. Like –
he's not hanging out with the other guys, so missing.
Nah, he got a house out in East, man. He a grown man, man.
Him and Kyle Anderson are like, yeah, you guys can do whatever you want. We're hanging out here in our farms.
Oh, is that who we got next? Kyle Anderson?
No, he's coming. Actually, you know what? We'll go with Kyle. What we got on Kyle, guys? Mason, we'll start with you.
A+ for me. I mean, Kyle Anderson has been the glue to this team. I think he's played 30 games, so second most on the team compared to Tyus Jones. Tyus played in all 32, but without Kyle Anderson, like we said about Dylan Brooks, this team would be nowhere near where we are today, sitting at 16-16. Just the versatility to be able to play multiple positions, to be able to guard multiple positions, to go from a creator to just kind of a guy on offense who's filling in, cutting in the lane, coming off screens. The improvements from downtown, I mean, none of us could have expected Kyle Anderson to shoot the ball the way he has. And, I mean, he's got to be in the running for most improved player. So Kyle Anderson gets an A+ for me.
Yeah,
what do you think, Rich?
I'm going with the same A+, man. During that time where Ja was out, if it wasn't for slow-mo, there's no telling how that time would have gone without the way he was contributing.
And dude was winning us games. Kyle Anderson was beating us.
Thanks, man. I'm just, so happy to see him fully healthy. Seeing the confidence is back, and he's just so versatile, man. The things he's able to do on the court, he's just such a unique player. And I think he just opens up things so much more. But I've loved it, man. Even seeing the three come into play this season, where if Kyle is open, and especially on that baseline, man, I'm thinking that whole going in, like he got the little follow through going and everything. So I just appreciate it, and I see how happy for him his teammates are. That he's able to contribute like this, because I think they know the work he's put in, and yeah, man, A+. Shout out Kyle Anderson doing his thing this year.
Yeah, to me, Kyle is the Grizzlies MVP for the first half of the season. This man stepped up to the plate when things were looking pretty grim. Didn't really know what direction the season was going to go. He brought everyone together. Probably had like a group outing at his house out there. They had a little retreat for a weekend, said, all right, guys, things are going to be okay. Jaw's out. It's all right. I'm the veteran here. We'll take care of it. But talking about Kyle, so he's in the 41st percentile among all players in openness rating, which is pretty low. So that means he's not just hitting open threes. He's hitting contested threes, which is super strange. That something that you wouldn't think, based on his previous numbers in his career, that he would be doing. He's hitting 5 percentage points better on threes compared to any other season. He's like doubled up on 3-point attempts. He just got so much confidence this year. It's been really great to see. And he's also been a huge playmaker for this team, which all this stuff just sounds weird saying, but it's very true. He ranks super high in potential assists per 100 passes, high value assists, his box creation, playmaking talent. Like he's doing a lot of the stuff that like Ja's doing, where he's just helping the other guys on his team. He's a credible passer, very sneaky, and has just really carried this roster through many games. So nothing but praises to say for Kyle, a guy who, most of the time he's been here, it's kind of been ho-hum to me, but this season he's really just broken out for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, another guy I don't want to get rid of at this point in time, just to see how he fits with Jaren.
Yeah.
He's just like the ultimate utility man, like a 5-tool player in baseball. He can do a little bit of everything. And when he's on the floor, teams are scoring 9 fewer points per 100 possessions. He's in the 93rd percentile defensively. So, and like he'll get 5 steals in a game and have 2 blocks and tip 6 passes with his long ass arms. So, shout out to Slow Mo, man.
Yep.
Who's up next?
All right, we got Rich. How about Justice Winslow? We can say an I if we feel like, just because it hasn't been a whole lot, but want to throw him out there for discussion.
Yeah, I'll go with the I, but I will say that I think first and foremost positively, I'm just happy to see him back. And I think my grade is going to stem from that post game interview, man. After which game was that? We had the 20-piece
Clippers, right?
The Clippers game, man. Watching that interview, man, and just seeing, the pure joy from him. And the vulnerable moment of, just speaking about how tough this road has been. You know what I'm saying? Fans can sit around and speculate and, say what's going on and you're hurt. But, man, rehab is a son of a bitch. Rehab is a grind. Coming back from injuries are tough. And, from all intents and purposes, I haven't heard anything but positive things said about Justice during his time, with the team. And now that first game was rough. When they first tried to integrate him in, but I think slowly but surely you're starting to see him become more comfortable, man. He just the way he's able to create off the dribble for himself, especially in the post, like taking the ball from the top and getting to his space in the post, I think has been super valuable. The defense that he brings, I think I mentioned earlier, he's a solid dude, man. He's built, you know what I'm saying? And he's just somebody else that we can throw at those bigger scoring wings throughout the association. And so, I see the vision. I see what the front office saw in Justice. And I think that, only time will tell as he continues to acclimate and get back, into his groove, into like true peak game shape, etc. But, I'm happy to see him on the court playing basketball again. And I look forward to, if we're having this conversation at the end of the season, how that second half has turned out for him, especially if he's able to play alongside Jaren.
Yeah, I mean, after the Chandler Parsons saga, you got somebody that you bring in coming off the injury, and you just hope he looks all right when he's out there running up and down the court. And so that was check mark number one for me, that he looked like the athlete that he was in Miami. And so far, so good. And I'm excited to see what the future holds for him. I think he'll be in the starting lineup before too long, just with all the intangibles that he brings to the team. But, I mean, that also means someone has to be removed from the starting lineup, and who is that? I'm not sure. We'll save that for a later show. But, yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about the couple games we saw of Justice Winslow.
Agree with you guys. He's someone that he knows how to get open. He knows how to get himself in a good position to score. Rich, you mentioned the post game, not the after the game, his post up game. I guess that's I realized that was confusing. Yeah. So, I mean, he's a big guy, big guard, mismatches down there. Also knows how to cut and get open, real athletic guy. So that's where he really brings his value on offense, more so than the shooting end that some of these other guys bring. So a little diversity on offense there, and just, stellar defense. That's going to be the most fun part about watching him play. All right, Tyus Jones, Mason.
Well, I've been giving people good grades for being available, and he's played in every game, but I think I got to go B-. Tyus has been up and down a lot, and he had the really rough streak where he couldn't make a shot. So I just expect more from him. He's not leading the league in assist to turnover ratio like he did the last 2 years. So he's got to get dinged for that a bit. But I mean, he was playing out of position as a starting point guard for 10, 12 games while Ja was down. So it's a lot of adjustments going from running that bench unit who just creates chaos to moving into the starting lineup. And it's a makeshift starting lineup at that. So he hasn't been awful, but I just expect more from Tyus. So I'm going B-.
Yeah, I think I'll go B-, C+ range. Tyus has been available for sure, but like we said, just the consistency hasn't been there. Been very up and down. And asked to play, out of position, like you mentioned, in roles that he wasn't brought here to play. But I just want to see a little more when he's out there. If the floater isn't dropping in certain games, it's just, kind of dead in a way. I love the synergy that he's able to have with the bench guys. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just kind of like going through the motions in a way. It seems like I don't know what the ceiling is for, Tyus's role as the backup point guard. But I just want to see more offensively, and I also want to see more defensively as well. He's always going to be, undersized, at a disadvantage in a way. But yeah, he's just too smart of a basketball player to not continue positively impacting this team and, the young guys. But he's, one of the vets, honestly. And so, I know the presence he brings to the locker room, the way the guys look to him, especially his relationship with Ja. They're super close. He brings a lot off the court as well. But definitely I do want to see more. So I'm in that B-, C+ range also.
Yeah, I would have to say a B. He does what he does well, and that's create shots for his teammates. Pretty good on the perimeter defense end, but the scoring's pretty bad. That obviously he's not going to replace Ja's scoring abilities, but he's doing stuff he's not asked to do. Same thing that we would say about Dylan when he's got to be the primary shot taker. So pretty average so far. Some really good, some really bad. So for Tyus, I would have to agree with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, his on-off is the worst on the team, so it's been rough. But to be fair, he's been playing a lot with Sean McDermott and John Conchar at times, so he hasn't had a full stable of that bench unit. So hopefully we'll see that in the second half.
Yeah, I think a lot of that's a little muddied based on the personnel that he's having to drag along with him.
Yeah, and when he was in the starting lineup, we were getting pounded by like 20 every game. So
yeah,
his numbers took a hit.
All right, DeAnthony Melton. For me, I'm going to have to say that he gets an A this season. Been really impressed with Melton. Found his shooting stroke, too. which is pretty awesome. He's shooting 43% from 42 from 3, which is like 10 points higher than his career average. 10 points and 3 boards, 3 assists. And we know that a lot of what Melton does is intangible, is not going to show up in the box score. But he's had some games where he's lit them up. Like, I think he's got a couple 20 plus point games, which is really, that's not even what you're counting on him for. You're counting on him on the defensive end, make some good cuts, get a few dunks every so often. But I've just been really, really excited to see Melton kind of take that next step not consistently on offense, I guess, but to have that potential to know that he can go off. Another guy that Taylor Jenkins can count on, even though sometimes he's the 13th man and is left out of the games. And I know you're probably looking at it now, Mason, his on-off ratings, I believe, are pretty good. So just a guy that Jenkins got to figure out how to get in the game more. We think, Rich. So I said A. That's what I gave him.
Yeah, I mean, y'all know that's my guy. Melton is my dude. And so, I'm going with an A as well. I think that he has been letting the play speak for itself. Like, don't ever make me a DNP-CD ever again. I'm too important to this team with what I bring to the court. I was happy as hell for him in that Wizards game, man, when he was just shooting that thing and just letting it fly. It's clear that, he was in the lab this summer. He spent time working on that. He's just, he just positively impacts the game, man. I think he's just a joyous, happy-go-lucky dude. I think dude has like the top smile in the NBA. It'll just light up the whole fucking court. I'm like, damn, this dude has a great smile. Like, put him in some damn billboards, Memphis. You know what I'm saying? I'm just happy as hell that, D-Melt's on the team, man. And I think that he just, is somebody who I think his full potential hasn't even been unlocked yet. I think that there's still even more that he can do as a player. And it's clear that, he's willing to work and, do that. Not just on the defensive end, but offensively as well. And I think sky's the limit for sure. So A for me.
Yeah, I mimic your enthusiasm. I think he has all defensive team potential. And, seeing him go 6 of 10 from 3 in a game is a welcome surprise. And he's hovering around 40%. And, I mean, the lineup decisions that the coaching staff has to make, like, we're giving these guys A's and B+. So there's not much separation. But I think what separates Melton from the pack for me is the potential of what he can become and the flashes we're seeing. So I love that dude. Yeah. I don't know what he's got to do to get in the starting lineup or if that would be beneficial or not, but he's definitely somebody who I want to hold on to moving forward.
All right. We got a few guys left. Probably won't cover every single person. I don't think we need to give like Conchar and McDermott grades. Probably
just Tillman left.
We got Tillman and Gorgie if we feel like it. Gorgie ain't gonna be here in a few weeks, so I don't
know. I just want to shout out Gorgie, man. If we don't grade him, I just want to say those garbage minutes against the Clippers. My pops texted me and has no idea what is going on with Grizzlies basketball, and he just saw Gorgie hit like 2 threes or whatever. So he was like, "Why doesn't 14 play?" I'm like, Dad, yeah, he's kind of out of rotation. Oh, the guy, he might be moved. He was like, 14 has a shot. I was like, but he's not that good. Dad. He's like, bad decision. I was like, all right, man, I'm bye.
Gorgie, he was the Viagra of that game. He came in and got him up.
Gorgie gonna get his. He gonna get them shots up, man.
Honestly, I give both him and Tillman. I probably give Gorgie an A because he stayed ready, and anytime he's been called on, he's performed pretty well. Mm-hmm. And then Tillman probably a B+. Like he showed a lot for a rookie. There's room to grow, of course, but just filling in when he has, I think he's shown some things that he could be a potential part of the core moving forward with his versatile defense, and he showed more offensively than I expected, even though I didn't know what to expect because I didn't watch him in college really. But I think you see some things offensively. He knows where to be. He knows how to set the screens. He's good at rolling and getting open. He's got some nice hands, and you just got to hit that little floater. It's not bad, You see the potential there for what he can become.
So, I think for Tillman, Yeah, I'd give him in that B range. Like I've seen some good stuff, seen some bad. I'm really not kind of almost like an incomplete of like I don't really have a flavor understanding of like where he fits into the lineup. You know, he came out the gate really hot. And it's like, all right, JV's out. Let's like never put him back on the court. Clearly, we needed a JV back on the court some. And
we might have seen the most of Tillman we're going to see all year if Jaren comes back.
Right. Yeah. That puts a log jam down there between Jonas, Jaren, Kyle, BC. That's four guys already playing two positions. So there's your rotation.
Yeah, you got Kyle and Justice who can play the four at any time. So
so it gets kind of tough down there. And I think that with him, it may be one of those. He's gonna probably have to. He might have to stay ready for a while and then just kind of wait until his opportunity comes. May not be this season, maybe next season, and then see what he's capable of, what he can do outside of being Jaren's best friend, which, you get a couple points for that, but also I'd like to, I don't want to grade his basketball abilities 100% just yet. So I think
anything you want to add on X, Rich?
I think y'all hit it pretty much. I think, solid player. I mean, from what he's shown thus far. I think it's been mentioned already. Great hands as a roller, finisher. But I think that he'll just have to stay ready. Because there is going to be a log jam. And I think there can still be some skill refinement as well. In working with the organization, and assistant coaches and whatnot. But great guy. Happy to have him on this team. And we can see, what he's going to become. I just don't know if that's something that we're going to see throughout the second half of this year.
Yeah, and the likelihood is that we say he might be out of the rotation, but everyone's probably going to be in the rotation during this second half stretch. Yeah. Jaren's probably not going to play every game. Justice probably not going to play every game. You're going to have to rest guys because they're coming at you every other night with some back-to-backs in there. So I think we're going to see a lot of everyone. It's going to be really interesting to see just how we, especially since we have the most games in the second half, manage players' minutes. And is there a set rotation that you sit out like every 4 games or something? I don't know what's easiest or best for team chemistry, but it's going to be an interesting challenge for, Taylor Jenkins and his staff.
That'd be definitely something to monitor going forward.
Sure.
All right, Mason. You trying to rip these packs?
Oh, yeah. Top shot time, baby. Let's go. I've been waiting all day for this. Let me share my screen here. Chrome tab. Top shot. Boom. All right. We in here? Can y'all see this?
Yep.
All right. So this is the new Rising Stars pack. We're going to open it and hope we get a Ja Morant.
It's like 7 moments or something. It's a lot.
Yeah, you get 5 base moments, and you get 1 of the All-Star moments, which is the Seeing Stars, and then you get 1 of the I got the sound turned off because it only played through my headphones, and it's loud as hell. And you get 1 of the Rising Stars moments, which are out of 2021, and the Seeing Stars are out of 10,000. So
I'm nervous right now for you.
Yeah, this should be a base card. Let's see what we got here. Josh Okogie. That sucks. That's anticlimactic. Oh, we got a Knicks. RJ Barrett. I'll take that. I don't know why the moments aren't playing, but whatever. Yeah, I don't need to see them all. Right here. Oh, Devin Booker, All-Star. Okay, I'll take that.
Most disrespected player in the league, baby.
Let's see. This is over Bradley Beal.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's tough. That's tough.
A decent serial number, 6759 out of 1,000. Not great, but not bad.
So is that the big card?
No, that's the All-Star ones. That's the one that they dropped all week. The big one's right there in the middle. You see it's blue. So we'll open up these more base packs. That's a high serial number. Colin Sexton. Okay, whatever.
Young bull.
I'll take that. Miles Bridges. Been really fun to watch this year. I'm down with that. Another dunk. Let's see. I bet this is a cool dunk. Dude's a high flyer. Oh, from LaMelo.
Mellow.
Oh, windmill.
Ooh.
Okay,
Oh,
I'll take that. I like that.
Ugh.
All right, one more regular one. Let's see what we got. Clippers PG dunk.
PG? Okay.
All right, pandemic P.
Pandemic
As
P.
long as I don't have Paul George shooting the corner three, I'm good. That's a dunk on his old
Oh,
team.
Ooh.
Oh, my boy, Justin Holiday. Dang. Okay.
Holiday made a business decision on that one, getting out there.
For the moment I've been waiting for. All right. This is the rising stars. Could be a John Morant, LaMelo Ball. Could be Campazano or whatever his name is from Denver. So let's see what we got here. Spurs, Keldon Johnson, I guess. Okay. I'll take that. 17, 19. Keldon Johnson. Let's see if he throws one down. Hey, could be worse. I think that dude is going to be a really good player. So
Yeah, he's been playing really well for him.
Kentucky.
I'll take that. All right. Well, that was Mace's top shot opening. No John Morant, but I'm pleased with the Keldon Johnson.
Do you have any Morant moments?
I've got a few, but none of the crazy rookies or anything. I don't have the dunk. It's out of my price range. They have the dunk over Bane as one of the moments. So
I'm sure that's like the golden moment when I think of Morant, like one that I would pay money for, but not at not the $20,000 or whatever it probably is. A lot of
like 10, yeah. And it's his first moment. It's his rookie moment. So it's a lot of factors going into driving that price up.
No doubt. All right, guys. Well, that wraps it up for us. Thanks for hanging with us. Listen to another episode of the Backdoor Cut Show. Again, you can find us on Dash Radio's Nothing But Net channel and also the Barn Burner Podcast Network. Check out the-barnburner.com and buckle up for the second half of the season for the Grizzlies and the Backdoor Cut Show. All right, we'll see you later.
Peace.